So that's the first source. The first source is our very own experiences. Some of them painful, but still were beneficial. Some of them wonderful. And we simply take the honey. And this honey is stored within our heart. We only need to look into it and to find it there. And there's so much there, but still we feel like as if we're lacking, as if we're confused, as if we're unclear. That's why, when you sit and ask the heart chakra to speak to you, this kind of insights that you were sharing, these are your insights. One day you will need to take them with your own hands and say, yes, these are my insights. It's natural to me. And it's not about arrogance. That's, by the way, arrogance is probably the enemy of the body of knowing. The fear of arrogance, not arrogance, the fear of arrogance, that we always think that we need to be very cautious. That to declare that I know something at all is almost like, just like a sort of a megalomaniac thought. How can you know? Who are you to know? You can only think or feel something or have an opinion, but you cannot know. You see? But there's nothing humble about not knowing and saying, "Oh yeah, I don't know anything. I'm not sure at all." That this keeps you small and kind. You see, that you are not intimidating anyone. It's actually when you know, you are not arrogant at all. You see. When you're overconfident in terms of thinking, then you're arrogant. You need to show off and you need to justify and to be opinionated and to make yourself heard. Because you don't really know, you're not sure. So you need to convince others. But if you know, that's very, very quiet and solid, and fearless, and naturally humble. So there's nothing humble about it. It just means that you are deciding to be eternally confused. If you are overcautious, if you never say, "Okay, yes, I know that. This is not a matter of thinking and not a matter of feeling. I don't need any experience to be repeated and prove that." That's a knowing that is closest to me than my breath. You need to understand what we call spiritually enlightened people are just people who have become one with the body of knowing. They don't waver. Their entire mental, emotional, and physical worlds have surrendered to their body of knowing and have aligned with the body of knowing. They have become unified with the knowing. They don't wake up and then they think, and then they feel, and then they have a time of weakness or depression and confusion. Then maybe why? Maybe not. They have become one with this unchanging wisdom. But that unchanging wisdom is also in you. So So it's just a matter of making it conscious, consciously acknowledged. So that's one source. A second source is all the wisdom that we hear and all the external triggers that come from lectures, from books, from people that we have come to know, that of even from cinema, from literature, from poetry, that we have, as soon as we have come into contact with them, there was a tremendous surge from our innermost that said yes, that responded, that recognized. It's something that is so undeniable. Sometimes, as I said yesterday, it brings us to tears. It's something that rushes through us, that is not us. It has nothing to do with our mind. We respond to it so deeply that it includes the physical. Now, when we respond like that, this is ours. Do you understand? It does not belong, for example, if I've said something that throughout these 2 days to which you have responded in this way, it is yours, it is not mine. You have responded because your heart knows. And it's not that I said something wonderful that touched you. I said something wonderful that was simply your own words. The words of your own heart. That also needs to be considered a part of your body of knowing. It's if you just ask yourself, try to think of all those things that you have read, heard, watched, that made you respond in this way, and then transform them into, okay, so what does it mean? What do I know? What do I know without a doubt? What does my heart know? And you will realize that you have such an abundance of knowing that you've already got so much to rely on in your hardest moments, because that's the body of knowing becomes thickened and becomes really solid when you are in your worst moments of darkness and you cling to your knowing, you see? If you cling to your knowing in the darkest moments, something transforms completely. You are not the same person. Because, please understand, the body of knowing is the most, now I will be a bit esoteric, sorry, you will forget about it. I did not say anything, okay? But in the moment of death, what really counts is our body of knowing. There's a whole set of instructions in the Tibetan Book of the Dead that is basically this, you see. It's teaching the dying person to cling to their knowing. This, even if they enter hell, even if they enter complete confusion, to always go with the light of the knowing. And tell them, if they can't follow the light of your knowing, follow your guru, you see, because then at least the guru represents your inner knowing. So, and sometimes when we lose ourselves, at least we have the body of knowing embodied by someone else. But that's very beautiful, because the moment of our death is the most confusing time in our life, right? Everything that we have counted on, all of our solid reality, our mental world, our emotional world, our physical world, is all going to be taken away from us. Our circumstances, who we were, German, Jewish, Israeli, from New Zealand, Catholic, Christian, whatever, a man, a woman, we're going to be nothing. We're not going to have a family. No father, no mother, no son, no daughter, and so on. Who are we? You see? We are being stripped of all our knowledge. And then the question is, do we have that body of knowing? Because if we have that, even death cannot overpower us. So you see, death is the ultimate spiritual practice. Of course, if we are blessed enough to have death as a conscious process, sometimes death takes place in much less comfortable situations, that it's completely unexpected. But for many of us, death is going to be a conscious moment. We will know that we are going to close our eyes, and even if it's brief moments, it's enough to just have this something that we know, and we can cross with it the gates of death. Now, moving back to less extreme situations. To small moments of death, when everything comes apart, there also we will need to strengthen our body of knowing when we cling to it. In those moments of small death, when we know nothing, this is what we think, and this is what we feel, but knowing doesn't care about what you think or what you feel. Do you understand? It does not depend on it, and that's very crucial, because we immediately can say, but I feel that I know nothing. I feel very confused. Knowing doesn't even care about what you feel. That's a significant part of maturity is when we stop caring about how we feel. You see, it doesn't matter. I can feel dreadful. I can feel a complete idiot. I can feel unclear. I can be also dying. I can feel physically horrible. So, sometimes we think that we can understand or know only when everything is fun and great. Only when the circumstances are amazing. We see it in a seminar and everything is comfortable. We just ate a wonderful lunch and we are in good company. But no. It's when your own feelings betray you. When your own mind betrays you. When your own body betrays you. And you don't need them to tell you what is real. That's when you're really becoming a solid, deathless being. So two sources already. Our life experiences, our our responses to truth that we hear, or even through narratives. Every movie you have ever watched and cried, that's a part of your body of knowing, you see? Why do you cry? I'm talking, of course, not crying, if it's self-pity, it's not body of knowing. I'm saying when we cry, that we feel that the hero does something that we recognize as a real choice, or that the film leads us to what really matters, and we recognize that that's a part of the body of knowing. And the third source of body of knowing is very mysterious. We don't know how we know it. It precedes our experience. We may be even too young to experience enough to know it. And still, we know it. It's like we feel that there are certain things that we cannot doubt. We cannot explain why. How do we know it? When I was only 21 and I first heard the concept of enlightenment, I just knew that was real. I just knew that was the only thing that mattered in life, that I'm going to dedicate my whole life to it. And how did I know that? Why? I didn't have a background. No spiritual environment, nobody supported me, nobody could even share that with me, but I knew. So, most of the things that I teach, I have no idea why I even say them, you see, because they just come from a mysterious part. And the amazing thing is that if I put you on this chair and people would ask you questions, you would realize that you also know some things that you and that you hear yourself speak. And your mind struggles, like, what is this guy, how dare this speaking like that? What is this confidence you don't even experience? And when you return to your lousy life, do you really live like that? And so on and so on. This is how the mind doubts, because its role is to doubt everything. That's what minds do.